This is National Chess Master Rats to continue my video series on the correspondence team match at chess.com between my video lessons group and CARPE DIEM. And this was played on board 69. We have like high mid 1800s versus high 17, low 1800s rating advantage. Our man is adamschmalhofer, and let's see what happens. This is Sicilian defense. We've all seen this a million times, haven't we? And here White just commits a simple poor move, in my opinion. You need to cover that e-pawn and just follow opening theory. Bishop g5, and now black is going to win a pawn right out of the opening. And if you lose a pawn in the opening without any compensation for it, something has gone wrong. Okay. Now black has three threats: queen takes, and knight takes, and white can only cover two of those. And he chooses to play knight b3, and black just wins a pawn. And white doesn't have enough development for it. Strategically, black has a winning game on move 7. Of course, the game has to be played out, but with careful play, black will win this. And let's see what happens. White tries to get some development, but black just happily trades. Even though it develops the white knight, black has these luxuries. He's up a clear pawn, and a little bit of maneuvering here. Now, I think that probably what black should do is play bishop e7 and get castled. But b5 makes sense. Let's just drive that knight from a square. Maybe you don't want a potential knight d6 coming. And here, safe, sound, and logical is a6. It's probably the move I would consider. But black plays a kind of surprising little move here, b4. And that just gives the c4 square back to white. That's why, every time you move a pawn, not only look at what it can do, but look at what it can no longer do. And it can no longer cover c4. Okay? Bishop b5. And white just doesn't have enough for the pawn here, and now the bishop goes to a square where it's going to end up getting trapped, as we will see. You say, how does he trap it? Well, we will see. Now he's got ambitions of running pawns up the board, I suppose, and using the g file. Black says, okay, go ahead. And here, white timidly plays g3. He didn't want to lose this pawn. He was trying to gambit it, in this position. Hey, if you take my pawn, I'll let you take both my pawns and get both my rooks on open files. Well, black's not going to oblige. Anyway, black's still a clear pawn ahead. And now this f3 square is looking pretty dangerous, okay? It's one advantage, remember what I just said. Every time you advance a pawn, not only look at what it can do, look what it can't do. And it can no longer cover f3. So, it's going to prove white's undoing here in a moment. He covers f3, black attacks it, and attacks the knight g4. That's an oops. Black now wins. Bishop takes d4, wins material. The knight goes to f3, and there's a fork, attacking two rooks. And as I was saying, that bishop was going to get trapped. Well, here it is. It's trapped. Well, yeah, it has a retreat b3, but white's problem is the knight on g1. The rook on g1 is attacked by the knight. So he opts to save the rook, and there goes his bishop. And, not only is he down a pawn, he's down a piece too. And here comes black's counterattack. And now black grabbed another pawn, and white just totally lost attention to the game. And gosh, how can black win this? b3 threatens an immediate checkmate, but what he did was fine. Queen takes c4, going up a rook and a piece. And the knight's been sitting there on g4 hanging for a while, but black hadn't even bothered with it. So I didn't draw any attention to that. Let's just back it up and see how long was that knight sitting there. Queen d6. Can you take it now, or is it risky to take it? Well, let's see. What does white have in mind here? Rook takes. Uh, Trying to get something drummed up against G7. The idea is Queen E7. I don't know, but Black has so many good luxuries he doesn't have to even take that knight. Anyway, that was a quick game. Let's get the other game loaded up. And here comes. What is it doing? Doesn't like to take him to board or to the first move. Okay. We have the Queen's Gambit accepted. And here's a bizarre move by Black. Okay. This is going to cost him a tempo later. And he's going to spend another tempo too, as we will see. 2 tempos. They don't seem like much now, but we will examine them a little bit later and see why this ends up costing Black this game. Okay, it provides a threat. You're attacking this pawn. Well, it's easy to cover. Develop a piece. So Black threatens it again. Now nothing's guarding the pawn because this is a pin knight. White develops another piece. And now Black's attack is over, and White gets to develop another piece and attack the queen. So now the queen has given White a free move. Okay, White to play. He castles. Now here, it comes the thing that I've talked about so many times in these video series. These people shoving their rook pawns to keep bishops and knights out of the knight 5 squares. All Black needs to do is play knight f6. That's what he needs to do. Develop a piece. But he's afraid of a pin. I don't know what he's afraid of. He needn't fear the pin. Just develop. This is the move. Knight here. And if bishop g5, we'll deal with it later. Okay? Now you can kick it. Okay? Go ahead and kick it. It's fine. If he comes back, hey, maybe you can generate an attack against the white king. Keep your king in the center for a while. Then when you need the rook, get castled. You got a pawn storm started. No guarantee Black will win this, but at least Black has a plan here. So Black plays this blunder h6. These are bad moves. Okay, I'm going to keep criticizing them as long as they come up. These are terrible moves. It doesn't help the development. White has a good enough game. He doesn't even have to go to g5 to win this game. Okay, so White finds a good move, and Black immediately blunders the game away. Black needs to take that knight. Okay, but he doesn't. And instead of knight f6, even bishop d7 would have been a better move. But whatever. It comes d5, and now Black is losing a piece. This knight will have to move, and it chooses to move now. And here comes a fork. Bing, bang. You've had it. There goes the bishop, down a free piece. Black could resign now, but he plays on. And White just says, let's trade pieces, and Black obliges. We'll come back to when Black played h6. There's something I didn't mention. White has 4 minor pieces. Black has 3. There goes a pawn. Whoops, there it's gone. Now White's even got a piece and a pawn ahead. And there's another free pawn. I mean, this is almost bordering on ridiculous what's happening. Black should resign. You see stuff like this happen with a beginner, how they're losing material like this. White's playing great. Black is not paying attention. Now he finally develops that knight on move 20 after he can't castle. White secures the pawn on e4. Puts the knight on the side of the board where it does him no good. White just goes for the open file. Threats on the 7th rank. He covers it. Check. Bing. Now watch this. Here goes the pawn. That pawn is dangerous. White's going to push it as far as he can, drive the bishop away, and eventually promote that pawn. Black should resign. He doesn't. Here it goes. And now Black blunders a piece away. Takes, and there's a check. And at this point, Black decided it was time to resign. because he's just losing a pawn, and this pawn now has a clear path to the back rank, and we have a mate. Let's go back to h6 when he blunders with h6. I guess he didn't like this bishop coming here, but like I say, he can play knight f6. What if here's just a possibility: bishop d7. This destroys the tactic that white lost the piece with. Now let's just suppose white plays there. All he's done is he's induced a weakness. But I think that black can survive this, the weakness notwithstanding. White's not poised to take advantage of this, at least yet. Go ahead and try the kingside attack. What else you got to lose? Hold the king. The king is safe on e8 right now. You don't have to castle queenside just yet. Get your pawns rolling. Here black has some activity, has something in mind. You have to have a plan. And black didn't have a plan. He just played a move that didn't help his position at all. And let's see. Played h6, which didn't help him. Now, arguably, it does prepare g5. I've been talking about that, but he failed to realize that white now had a plan. That's a tactical shot to win a piece. After bishop a5, black loses a piece to d5. It's that simple. Okay, let's what about this move? Let's see. Oh, here we go. I can take this, retreat the knight, gobble that. Now comes this move to guard it. It must be missing something. But this doesn't look too good for black. What's he got? 6 pawns. White has 7. I'm probably missing something. That's how we analyze. I just thought of this move. What about bishop takes? I was saying earlier the knight has to move. What about this move? Well, you have another choice. You can take this knight. Now, where does this bishop go? That's a good question. I'll try back here. That way you got b6 in mind. How about if we do a check? I mean, do this, threaten this, and now give a check. I don't know. This doesn't look too good for black. Now he can't castle. He's going to lose castling privileges. I mean, there's all kinds. White has a lot of happy choices here. I'm probably missing something painfully obvious, but queen takes looks okay. Pawn takes looks okay. Both look totally fine for white. But black moved too quick. He didn't see what was cooking, and he brought his queen out early, helped white's development. Didn't plan on getting castled, and played the horrible rook pawn move. Anyway, 2 good games by Adam Schmalhofer, and thanks so much for watching. There'll be more videos soon. Take care.